Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Kenny with the Yak with MAC. It is so great to be back and I didn't mean for that to rhyme, but took some time off. You just never know that you actually need a vacation until you're actually on vacation. And I really needed a vacation. I feel refreshed, relaxed, ready to rock and roll. And the Yak with Mac is part of the Learning Podcast team. This has been just an absolute joy for me this year to be part of it. Okay, I've got a great topic for new leaders today. Any leaders that are not new, and when I say new, you've been promoted, let's say, within the last 90 days, maybe within the last 120 days. But if you're a veteran leader, I want you to listen to this also because maybe you're still kind of struggling with the routine, or maybe you're a veteran leader that's in a new situation. Maybe you just took over a different set of stores. Maybe you took over a new store if you're a store manager. We'll talk about and cover all of that. But first, my few reminders. Leader ready, I'll get back to some more specifics because I'm going to have a very special guest that will talk a little bit more in detail about Leader Ready within the next couple of weeks. So we'll get back to that as today is December 1st, so I know that classes are very, very limited if there are any classes at all, but that's still important to make sure you have on your radar for January. 10 minutes a day, my reminder. I think I might start to up that to 15 because of just the atmosphere we're in. We're going to need more and more great leaders in 2021. You're going to need to develop yourself. Certainly you have leaders that help develop you, but I'm saying behind the scenes, 10, 15 minutes a day, every day, 10, 15 minutes a day that you do something that's going to help develop yourself. We'll talk more about that in the coming weeks as we go into 2021. All right, here's my new edition of Retire the Cliche. Here's one that I know I've been guilty of saying a lot in the past. I've tried to stop saying it. You need to step up to the plate. What the heck does that really mean? Unless you're a big baseball fan like me, you might not know what that means. Step up to the plate? Really? What are we trying to say there? Now, you could step up to the plate and strike out, right? So how about this? How about, hey, I need you to do better, and here's how. I need you to do better, and here's how. Because step up to the plate, very generic, and I've known a lot of leaders in the past, including myself, that have just said that and left it out there. Just need you to step up to the plate. So that means work harder? Well, I'm already giving 100%. Maybe that's another retired cliche that we'll talk about next week because we say, hey, you got to give 110%. That's impossible. It's impossible. You can only give 100%. But that's a whole other one. Maybe we'll do that next week. But stepping up to the plate, I get what you're trying to say. I know what I've tried to say in the past. As leaders, one of my goals for you is to influence you to be more clearly, to speak more powerfully. And if you're just speaking in cliches, you're not speaking powerfully. All right? So step up to the plate. Go ahead and retire that. All right. This one is all about new leaders. And here's what inspired me to talk about that. My daughter, Kira, named her by name. I'm going to embarrass the heck out of her, I'm sure, because she watches these. She works for a retailer, not in wireless. And she fell into retail probably like a lot of you there. You probably started in retail as a job after school or a job to help you get through school. And if you stayed to be a leader within retail, you probably just fell in love with it. Nothing wrong with that. You can have a fantastic career in retail. I'm definitely a testament to that. Although I didn't start in retail, in high school or college. I was a restaurant guy for years, as I've told some of you. But Kira just fell in love with retail, and she slowly moved up. She became an assistant manager. Actually, I shouldn't say slowly. She was very good at what she does. I'm not saying that because she's my kid, but one of the things that happened to her recently was due to some circumstances in another store, she got promoted. She got promoted to store manager. And I'm not sure that she was expecting it. I think she had heard the rumors the last couple of days. I think she knew it was coming. But now she stepped into that role, and there's no doubt in my mind she's going to do outstanding. And I'm trying to hedge slowly in terms of giving her advice, because sometimes as a veteran leader like myself, if you give a new leader advice, sometimes that could be a little bit overwhelming to them. So you have to be careful with that. I'm talking to DMs, store managers out there that are really mentoring some new leaders. So that's your first line there, is to really, lean on your leaders, the person that promoted you, to really look for their advice. But I've got some specific things here as I started to think about what would be some things I'd want to tell my daughter. And I used to always tell my classes, I used to always tell my managers, whether I was in a trainer role, DM role, regional training role, I would always tell them, listen, I would never give my kids any bad advice. So I'm not going to start now by giving you any bad advice, because I'm going to treat you just like I would treat any of my kids. And so with Kira, I'm never going to give her bad advice, but I have to be careful not to overwhelm her. But I listed 5 things here that I know deep in my core that is really needed if you are a new leader today and you've just stepped into that new leadership role. I'm going to put aside the 10-15 minutes a day for developing yourself, because it could be so overwhelming. You're probably not thinking about, how do I continue to develop myself? Maybe that comes a little bit down the road. I hope that it comes day one, but I'm a realist as well, because I know if you've gotten promoted somewhere, chances are you've walked into something that's a little bit broke, right? Because that's probably one of the reasons why you got promoted. Okay, so and this is in no particular order. I'm just going to name these 5 things, because these are 5 things I think you should do immediately. One is establish expectations. Establish expectations for yourself, right? For yourself, but establish also expectations for your team. What do you expect? And think about some of those core basic things, such as lateness, such as performance, such as minimum expectations of what you expect in their performance. Communication. Establish some really, really just minimum expectations that you would expect as the new leader. Okay, that's the first one. Again, no particular order. The next one is to really get to know your people from the inside out. You've heard me talk about that before. Ask them a lot of questions. Go beyond the 4 walls, right? Ask them a lot of questions about their personal life. Great time of year to ask how their Thanksgiving was. What are some plans for the holidays? What are some plans that they have for their life? What's their 3-5 year plan? If they're in school, what are they going to school for? Why did you choose that major? Just ask question after question. Same thing that you would do when you're out there on the floor selling and you're getting to know a customer. Ask a lot of those questions with your team. Get to know them from the inside and out. Be sincere. Show them that you care, and you care about them personally first, and then the job second, especially in this time of coronavirus. And that folks could be going through stuff in their family. They could have family members that have gotten sick, infected, and that could be weighing on them a lot. So get to know folks from the inside out, and do that immediately as well. Establish a routine. This may sound very, very basic, but as a new leader, you're going to be really tired every day. And here's why. If you're in retail, you're in a job that could be physically demanding, but the fact that you're going to have so many things swirling around in your mind, in your head, you're going to be mentally drained at the end of the day as well. So establish a really, really good routine in terms of getting enough rest. I always recommend 6 to 7 hours of solid sleep every night. And so if that means that, you go to bed a little bit earlier, and I know if you're in retail, there's going to be some late nights. It depends also on your travel and stuff like that. But try to establish a routine of when you get that rest. Establish that routine also of what do you do before you get to your stores or store, and what do you do after? What's your follow-up look like after, when you leave for the night? If you're a store manager, maybe, I remember I used to do this, I would get all my email out of the way before I even left the house. Again, I want you to have those boundaries too, because you guys know I'm a big believer, I just talked about it, of quality of life. So you want to establish those boundaries too. But to me, that would help me be more effective if I got my email out of the way before I even left. I used to do the same as district manager. Now, I talked about how early I used to get up as a district manager, but I really didn't want to be bogged down with email during the day when I should be out in stores, right? So same thing as a store manager. If your email's out of the way, that means that you can spend time with your team, time with your customers, and more time doing the things that you probably want to do during that day. So after you leave, what's your routine look like? Now, my routine as a store manager was that I didn't want to even look at my email once I got home. So that was just me. Maybe yours is, hey, I didn't touch the email all day. I'm going to look at it when I get home. I don't highly recommend that. I think that once you get home, you should be home and done with work, right? So again, I know it's retail. So realistically, you may still get a call or two. That may happen. But as you develop better leaders, they're going to be able to take care of anything themselves without calling you once you get home. Okay, fourth thing is you got to bring the energy every day, and you need to establish that early with your team. And I mean within those first 30 days, because they know that you got promoted for a reason, right? They're just not quite sure. Maybe they heard of you and they know of your work somewhere else, but I have to tell you, the work you did somewhere else to get now to the place that you're at really doesn't mean anything, because you can lose that within the first 30 days. So you want to go beyond that, I just got promoted because I was good over here, to, hey, I'm going to come in here and make an immediate impact, an immediate difference. And the only logical way I could say that, because you're going to figure out what some of the issues are in the place that you just took over. The only way I could really say that makes sense to me, and hopefully this makes sense to you, is you got to bring the energy every day. If your team within the first 30 days thinks or senses that you're a moody leader, they're going to keep you at an arm's distance, and they're going to be like, yeah, they sent someone else here who really doesn't care about us and really is not invested in fixing this location. And so bringing that energy daily means that you are positive, you're ready to roll. I knew a great leader who used to always clunk fists with every single person when he first walked into the store to say hello. Some little routines like that, I think, really serve you and serve you well, and will take you a long way, especially within those first 30 days. Because you've got to get past that, hey, you just got promoted because you were good somewhere else, if that makes sense. And the only way that, well, there's a lot of ways, but the main way I think that you get past that is bringing that high energy every day and showing people that you're ready, you're happy for this opportunity, and that you're ready to fix now this location. The past is the past. What I accomplished in the past is great. There might be some things that you did in the past that was successful that you could use in this particular location, but you don't want to really talk about that. You want to make those mental notes, but bringing that energy every single day, that real great positive energy, showing your new folks that you are ready to roll, will serve you really, really well. And here's the last one that, and it's no particular order because you could do this first also, is that you got to establish a routine for fun. That's right. I said a routine for fun. I'm going to tell a quick story of my first management job, assistant manager at McDonald's. That's right. That's a while ago, but I was an assistant manager at McDonald's. I'll never forget. I got transferred, promoted all in the same day. I went to this huge store. I went from a store that was pretty busy to a store that was very, very, very busy, especially at lunchtime. And so I'll never forget the manager telling me, listen, McQuiller, that's what he used to call me, here we have fun. And, but it's very busy. I don't have time to tell jokes. I have all of my jokes numbered. That's right. He said he had all of his jokes numbered, and he showed me. He took me over to a chart, and he had jokes, and there were numbers on there. And he said, at lunchtime today, I'll show you. So lunchtime starts, it's 12 o'clock, the place is crazy busy, and everybody's working really, really hard, and out of the blue, that leader, his name was Wilfred, he said, all right, guys, everybody, number 9. And everybody cracked up. Everybody just started laughing, and it just broke the tension, the levity. It was great. And I was like, number 9, let me run back there. I looked at the chart. I was like, number 9, wow, that's funny. Okay. It was a funny joke, right? But instead of telling the whole joke, he just said the number, which was funny in itself. 1 o'clock comes, place gets crazy busy. It's really hectic. People are yelling, screaming. And around 1:30, Wilfred decides to break the tension again. He says, hey, everybody, number 6. And everybody just cracks up. I'm like, how do they remember these jokes? I go back there and I look, and yeah, number 6, that was funny. So he comes up to me and says, hey, do you think you could do this without me tomorrow? I was like, of course. I'm a brash young leader. And he said, so remember though, you've got to tell the jokes. Okay, fantastic. So I do the same thing. 12 o'clock gets busy, everything's going well, everything's hectic. I memorize a joke and I say, hey guys, number 12. Dead silence. Nobody laughs. I'm like, what? Number 12. And again, nobody laughs. Okay. I don't know how I would tell that joke wrong. I just said the number. Same thing happens at 1:30, and I say, hey guys, number 2. No one laughs. Everybody just stares at me and they keep working. So Wilfred comes in 2 o'clock and he says, Kenny, so how did it go? I said, yeah, everything went great. We banged out all the customers, but the jokes didn't go so well. He said, so what did you do? I memorized the 2 jokes. I said, hey, number 12, nobody laughed. And then at 1:30, I said, number 2, nobody laughed. And he looked at me and he said, well, Kenny, some people can tell a joke and some people can't. So you've probably figured it out by now. It was a whole ruse on me to kind of welcome me to the team by playing a joke actually on me. You see, he just wrote those up there. There was really no system or routine of jokes by numbers. I should have known that. But I was a young leader, and that really broke the ice. That was their routine to have fun. It was a place that was very busy, very hectic all the time, but it was a place that I remember going there every single day and having some fun. As a new leader, don't take yourself too seriously. Have some fun, joke around, make fun of yourself first, and get to know your people, get to know what makes them laugh. That's very, very important. Okay, I went long today, but I had a lot to say. Hopefully, new leaders, you will take this and really run with it. Older leaders, veteran leaders, you may not be here yet. So maybe these are some things that you could go out and establish, especially if you're in a new location. All right, but for now, this is Kenny with the Yak with Mac, part of the Learning Podcast team. We will talk to you real soon.